What's up guys and welcome to this new video. So pretty much everybody was surprised to see those new Ultra Beast announced in the new video that was released during the Nintendo Direct trailer. So yeah, everybody wants to talk about it and wants to know like what they're gonna represent and their typing and stuff. So I decided to invite one of my friends, MoxieBoosted, to discuss the potential typings for these two Ultra Beasts. So Moxie is with me on Discord. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. So hype for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon?
Yeah, I'm totally hyped for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I'm really excited to see what the new Alolan Dex is. If there is one, we were actually talking about that on Twitter earlier.
Yeah. So for people who have seen my tweets, I have sent out some polls to ask people like, okay, like if you had one type to guess for UV Assembly and Ultra Beast Burst, sorry, what would they be? So the most frequent votes were like for a Fairy type, for UV Burst, for Rock type, for UV Assembly, but it's pretty like given that they're gonna have a dual typing because Ultra Beasts very often have double typings. I think there's only like Xurkitree that is single type electric. So we're gonna find out, MoxieBoosted and I, what are the potential the most likely typings for those two. So we're gonna start with UV Assembly. So I'm gonna let Moxie pretty much give out his thoughts on this Pokemon. So what do you like of this Pokemon and what don't you like, and what do you see for typings?
So UV Assembly is kind of weird in that it almost resembles Unknown with all the eyes coming together to build this one thing. If you've seen that Entei movie back in the day, and it's clearly got some kind of rock steel thing going on because it looks like bricks. I would say more likely rock because we already have two steel types with Celesteela and Kartana being in the games, with Nihilego being the only other rock type UV. I was thinking probably rock, but we do also not have any ground type Ultra Beasts. So that's also potentially saying that they could be, but honestly I think rock with the secondary typing either being Psychic or Ghost, seeing how they all come together.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's so many possibilities, I think, with this Pokemon. Like, as I told you before we started recording, when it falls down, you see those red lines inside, like all the stripes and stuff. Actually made me think of a possible fire type. We also don't have that in our Ultra Beasts yet. There's also like the ghost aspect of it that really makes sense. And we never had a ghost rock type. Unless I'm forgetting something, this is my most likely vote. So I also see a possibility of maybe a Psychic, but then again, more going towards Ghost type. Because we've seen it had Iron Defense. It doesn't really give out anything because pretty much like every rock type can have it, right?
Yeah, I think there's only a few that don't get Iron Defense. It's just kind of a given for bulky Pokemon. But speaking of moves, I was thinking that, you know, Celesteela, it isn't fire type, but it gets fire coverage. I'm thinking that this Pokemon is going to be the same, seeing that it's an assembly Pokemon. It looks like it's a whole bunch of things that come together to build something. So, and since the inside glows red, I was thinking Overheat is kind of a given, possibly Flamethrower.
Possible. Yeah, that's a great point. Because we've seen Pokemon that aren't even close to a fire type, like let's say Zebstrika and what's it called, Melnectric, have access to those moves. We've actually seen some very weird Pokemon have access to types that actually don't make sense. So yeah, very good point. Anything else to add about this first Ultra Beast?
Well, I was thinking stat-wise, it would make sense if it were a mixed attacker. Sort of like how Guzzlord is, almost like that kind of stat distribution, but I was thinking less in HP and more in the defenses. And the reason I think mixed attacker is clearly this thing has to have heavy slam, so physically it just looks like a good physical attacker, but with the whole fire coverage thing, it's got to have some kind of special coverage there too. So I was thinking just average offenses in both, maybe like 90 with insanely high defenses.
Yeah, and what would you, well, you're probably gonna say like the very weak stat, because pretty much every Ultra Beast has a weak point. It's probably going to be its speed, right?
Speed and also possibly the HP, because honestly, just having a low speed would only make it more viable in Trick Room, and I think Pokemon would recognize that.
Yeah, good point.
They might even give it an average stat.
Yeah, or maybe it has access to moves like Rock Polish, etc. That would actually have made a Pokemon like Guzzlord much more viable to have access to a speed boosting stat. But now it stands, I think, in the RU tier, and for Pokemon with those stats and the fact that it's a dragon, I think it's the weakest dragon out there. Weakest.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think there's like Draudigon in that tier, and that's pretty much it. Because otherwise, you're going to non-fully evolved dragons in the NU tier, like Dragonair, etc. So yeah, that's gonna be it for UB Assembly. We are gonna skip to UB Burst. Okay, this one is extremely interesting, and we have some pointers that might indicate us what are the possible typings for that one. So I want to go ahead and give your first thoughts on this Pokemon when you saw it.
Well, when I first saw it, I thought this thing's got to be fairy fighting. Just the way it carries itself, its hands kind of moving away, that's about to do some kind of martial arts. But it's clearly a fairy type because it's a clown, right?
Yeah.
Well, when you look at the typings of all the Ultra Beasts that have come out so far, we already have 2 fighting types, and I feel like they won't use the same type twice, kind of like what I said with rock typing and not steel typing with UB Assembly. So I think UB Burst has more of a chance of being either Fairy Dark. My vote's for Fairy Dark. I would love Fairy Dark. Or Fairy Ghost. And go ahead and explain why we think it's either Ghost or Dark, its secondary typing.
So I think you really like that that information I got, because basically in the Japanese trailer, I haven't noticed if it was same in the English trailer, but UB Burst is facing a Metagross and is using what very likely is its signature move, where it throws a disco ball and it explodes with like pink and blue and white sparkles. So I haven't seen that used by any other Pokemon, so that's really screaming signature move. And it is super effective against Metagross. What are the typings that are super effective against Metagross? There is Dark, Ghost, Fire, and Ground. I think we can already eliminate the Ground. I think you'll agree to that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Fire, I don't think that's... Well, I mean, maybe it will have access to Fire-type moves, but do you really see an exploding Disco Ball being a Fire-type move?
Explosion-wise, yes. Disco, hell no.
No, alright. So we're going to the last 2 typings, which are Ghost and Dark. So I'm thinking Ghost, but I would also agree with Dark. Because the aspect of like a clown betraying by throwing a disco ball and dealing damage with that move. I know visually it doesn't look like a Dark type, but it also, like, I mean, Pokemon with those Ultra Beasts have pretty much said like it's true logic. So
Thunderbolt, Nihilego, Ice Beam, Pheromosa.
Oh, everything, pretty much everything. You see so many moves: Flamethrower, Celesteela, Giga Drain, Celesteela. Like, name it, seriously. I think it's gonna be either Ghost or Dark. So we have that as a given, that it's gonna be one of those 2 typings, and the second one will probably be something like Fairy, Fighting, maybe Psychic, but it would really be like it would really be far-fetched to really add a Psychic typing to that. I actually read normal, but anyways, I read normal and on Twitter and Reddit, and I thought it made sense, but I wouldn't go as far as to put that as a normal type. But then again, normal Ghost is something that we have never seen. A normal Fairy, there's a few. Normal Fighting, there's Meloetta, etc. So if they really want to innovate, it would have to be normal Ghost. So yeah. What about the stats? What do you think will be the spread for UB Burst?
I see UB Burst being a generally, fast Pokemon. Its highest attack, or its highest stat, is most likely going to be speed. But I'm thinking that's going to be the one that could be boosted. But you also have the option to boost either physical or special attacks. Kind of like Pheromosa, how it's got even physical special attacks with really high speed. But I'm thinking it won't be as strong as Pheromosa. It'll be bulkier in that way. And also back on the typing, it's not uncommon for people to be scared of clowns. So, Ghost and Dark still makes sense in that aspect.
True. That's another good point. Do you think it's gonna be the signature move? Is it gonna be a physical or a special move?
I could really see it being either because it's a projectile. I'm thinking special, but also, we've had projectile moves that are physical, like Ice Shard, that sort of thing. I'm gonna lean towards physical, honestly.
Okay. So and what about the other moves that it could have? Like you were talking about the move like Overheat on UB Assembly. Like what would you really gamble to predict for its moves?
I'm really thinking High Jump Kick for some reason. I'm not sure why. I feel like this thing's gonna have fighting coverage with High Jump Kick.
Sure, that's something very likely. I mean, by the way, its stance really makes sense to add some fighting type moves, but I don't think it's actually it's gonna be a fighting type in its typing. So, I mean, having that coverage would actually make it even better. And there's some moves like, you know what? I will say like moves like Night Slash, etc. Because like it seems like it has flaws, and it might actually be sharp. So using those moves to cut, let's say X Scissor, etc. I would go and predict that for UV Burst. I think Dazzling Beam is a given. Seriously, you look at that. If
it hurts to look at
it. Yeah, the guy working at GameFreak that would forget that is definitely not gonna stay there for long. So
I mean, they didn't give Tapu Bulu play rough.
Tapu Bulu play, yeah, that's another one. So, then again, we'll find out very soon. I think Pokemon has started really being serious about leaking stuff. They started that real strong with Lycanroc Ghost form, because before that we had like pretty much 3 months without any exciting news for that game. So I think they maybe have leaked a little too much for Pokemon Sun and Moon, and they wanted to go another direction here by pretty much not telling anyone anything. But they pretty much hit the target here with this release. I think like some very cool Z moves, like the Lycanroc Z move is gonna be great. I also like the Happy Hour Rockruff. It's gonna be great. The fact that
Happy Hour is gonna be really fun.
Yeah, because you can try like in the lower tiers to play with maybe a special, a specially offensive Lycanroc. I mean, that has like base 55 special attacks, so it's definitely not meant for that, but it still would be fun to use nonetheless. But anyways, so thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow me and Moxie on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So I will put his links in the description so you guys can actually go and check it out. He's a great dude. He does a lot of great content, so go check him out. I would strongly recommend him. So got anything else to say?
I really, really want Pennywise as I really want just a reference to Pennywise for the name of UB Burst. That's all I care about.
So yeah, I agree that would be great, but then again, we'll see very soon because Pokemon seems to be leaking a little bit more stuff, giving us more information, so we'll find out very soon if they'll follow that path. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace!